Good day everyone. So I hope you're still fine. So we are going to have now our new topic. But before we proceed, I will show you some slides wherein you are going to have a simple and short game. Okay? It is entitled Figure It Out, wherein I will show you some figures or pictures and you are going to solve the given pictures. Okay? So I will show it on your screen. Okay? For example, I have here, okay, the picture of a tea plus cherries minus RIES or RIS. Okay, so you are going to solve that. Okay, so what should it be? Correct. So your picture or your pictures said that it is a teacher. Okay, so again, because we have here tea. Okay, so that's why we have here tea. Then plus cherries, wherein you are going to subtract RIS or RIES. So therefore, you will left with cher. So again, that's why we got teacher. Okay, so do you follow? So let's now proceed. For the first picture, we have this one. Okay, so we have these pictures minus the words, okay, then plus, okay. So what should be the word here? So just take a look on the pictures and the operations and the words I have here on the slide. What should it be? Okay, the correct answer here is inductive. Okay, now you are going to have your insect instead of butterfly. Okay, so insect minus sect, so you will left with in, plus duck minus k, so therefore you have your DUC. Then plus TIV, so that's why we have here inductive. Okay, do you get it? Okay, so let's proceed with this slide. We have this one. We have DE plus DUKE minus KE plus active minus A. Okay, so what is the word here? That's correct. We have deductive. Okay, let's have this one, the last one. We have Y with 1, 2, 3 plus ING. So what is the word here? Numbering, another answer. Questioning, another answer. Okay, any guess? Okay, so if you don't have, so the correct answer here is reasoning. Why? Because I have here the question, why? Okay? So there are many reasons, so or 3 reasons rather. So that's why plus ing, so you will have reasoning. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed answering the given slides or the questions or the pictures in the slides. Okay, because this day we are going to have, okay, so as the words that I have given to you earlier, we have inductive and deductive reasoning. Okay, so how are we going to relate these words on our discussion? Okay, so when we say reasoning, that is the mental process of drawing conclusions or inferences from observation, facts, or hypotheses. Okay, so for our example, let us have example 1. Look at the following mathematical statements. Okay, so I hope you have your idea when are you going to have the inductive and deductive. Okay, so for example, we have here 1 plus 3 equals 4, 5 plus 7 equals 12, 3 plus 9 equals 12, 7 plus 11 is 18, 9 plus 13 is 22, 15 plus 21 is 36, 17 plus 19 equals 36, and 23 plus 27 is equal to 50. Okay, so after having these mathematical statements, we can have our generalization that the sum of 2 odd numbers is an even number. So based on the given examples and based on our generalization, so what do you think is the kind of reasoning we have here? Is it inductive or deductive reasoning. Okay, so the correct answer here is, you got it right. This is inductive. Okay, next. For example 2, we have a visitor happened to pass by your classroom and observe 2 of your classmates walking around the room, 5 sleeping, and another 3 just talking to each other. He goes on to conclude that your class is lousy and unruly. Okay? So what do you think is the kind of reasoning in this situation? Is it inductive or deductive? Okay, you got it right. The answer here is inductive. Okay, next. Example 3. Look at the following sets of statements. The sum of 2 numbers is an even number. Then the second set, 3 and 7 are odd numbers. And then the last, therefore, the sum of 3 and 7 is an even number. Okay? So what kind of reasoning do we have here? That's correct. We have here deductive. Correct. Okay? Example 4. We have, if a girl is pretty, then she looks smart. Anna is pretty. Therefore, Anna looks smart. Okay? So what kind of reasoning do we have here? Okay, so that's correct. That is deductive. Correct. Okay. So let us have this activity. Okay, so you are going to tell whether each of the following illustrates inductive or deductive reasoning. But you have to take note first that when we say inductive reasoning, you are going to, yes, have the examples first before you are going to have your conclusion or generalization. While deductive starts from conclusion, okay, and then you are going to have the examples. Or another thing, when we say inductive, from specific to general, while deductive from general to specific. Okay, so let's move on with number 1. My math teacher is short. My last math teacher was short. Therefore, all math teachers are short. Okay, so what kind of reasoning do we have here? That's correct. That is inductive. Why? Because you have observed that your math teacher now and your math teacher last year are short. So therefore, examples were given first before your conclusion. Therefore, all math teachers are short. So again, examples to the conclusion. So therefore, you have inductive reasoning. Next, we have number 2. All quadrilaterals have 4 sides. A rhombus has 4 sides. Therefore, a rhombus is a quadrilateral. So what kind of reasoning do we have here? Okay, that's correct. That is deductive. Why? Because you already define quadrilaterals, wherein all quadrilaterals have 4 sides. And then after defining or after having this conclusion or definition, you have given an example and you have given a rhombus as your example. So we have here a rhombus has 4 sides. So that's why you can have your conclusion that a rhombus is a quadrilateral. So again, this is example of deductive reasoning. Next, number 3. If the sum of the digits of a number is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. The sum of the digits of 2013 is divisible by 3. Then, 2013 is divisible by 3. What kind of reasoning do we have here? Okay, yes, that's true. That is deductive. Okay, because you already have here the definition or the rule. So, after having the rule, you have given the example. 2013 is your example. So, that's why your kind of reasoning here is deductive. Okay, so let's proceed with number 4. Jake named his cows Moo 1, Moo 2, Moo 3, and Moo 4. His next cow will be named Moo 5. Okay, what kind of reasoning do we have here? That's correct. We have inductive. Why? Because you have observed that the first cow is Moo 1. The second cow is Moo 2. The third is Moo 3. So by simply observing, okay, with a pattern, so you can have here the conclusion that the next cow will be Moo 5. So that's why it is inductive reasoning. Okay, next, number 5. Two problems in geometry are hard to prove. Therefore, geometry is a hard subject. Okay, so what kind of reasoning is this? That's correct. That is inductive. Why? Because you already have here two examples or two problems. Okay, so two problems in geometry are hard to prove. Okay, so therefore, geometry is a hard subject. Okay, so you have given first your example. So that's why you have here inductive reasoning. Okay, question? Okay, so to sum it up, when we say inductive reasoning gathers specific information, usually through observation. Okay, so like example 4, Moo 1, Moo 2, Moo 3, Moo 4, and Moo 5, and measurement regarding a conjecture, and then proceeds to make a general conclusion based on the gathered information. And then, inductive reasoning is characterized as reasoning from particular or specific to the general. Okay, so again, that is all about inductive reasoning. And another thing about inductive reasoning is that conclusions are based on observations of a pattern. And conclusions may be true but not necessarily. So, therefore, sometimes your conclusion may be false. Okay. Next, deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a process of reasoning logically from given facts to a conclusion. Okay? Or sometimes examples, then conclusion. This kind of reasoning is characterized as reasoning from the general to the particular or specific. Okay? So, conclusions are based on accepted statements such as definitions, postulates, theorems, and properties. Okay? So, like the quadrilateral example here. Conclusions must be true if the general statement is true. Okay, so therefore your conclusion will be based on your general statement. So that is all about the deductive reasoning. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So let's practice. Okay, so you are going to study the following arguments. Tell whether inductive or deductive reasoning is applied in each statement. Okay, so in number 1 we have, by observing that negative 1 raised to the third power is equal to negative 1, negative 1 raised to the 5th power is equal to negative 1. And negative 1 raised to the 7th power is equal to negative 1. Annette concluded that any odd power of negative 1 is equal to negative 1. So, this is inductive. Okay? Why? Because you have already your observations or examples. So, before you proceed with your conclusion. Okay, next. Every time Richard shoots the ball at the left side of the basketball ring, he misses. He then concludes that if he will shoot on the right side of the ring, he will make a good shot. Okay? So, what type of reasoning is applied in this situation? Okay, so that's inductive, correct. Okay, because he had his conclusion first or examples, where does he stand? Okay, if he misses the points. Okay, next. Number 3. All acute triangles have 3 acute angles. Triangle PJO is an acute triangle. Therefore, triangle PJO has three acute angles. So what kind of reasoning do we have here? That's correct. We have deductive. Okay, so we have the property of acute triangles. Okay, and then the example, which is triangle PJO. That's why it is deductive. Okay, number 4. Collinear points are points that lie on the same line. Points E, D, and Z lie on a line. Therefore, E, D, and Z are collinear points. So what should it be? That's correct. So we have here deductive. Okay, because we have here the definition of collinear points, and then you have given the examples on the latter part. So that's why you have deductive reasoning here. Okay, any questions so far? So let's have this oral exercise. Okay, so tell whether inductive or deductive reasoning is applied in each statement. So we have number 1, the product of two odd numbers is an odd number. The numbers 7 and 11 are odd. Therefore, the product is odd. Okay, write your answer if it is inductive or deductive. Next, after measuring 10 pairs of vertical angles, Paul concluded that all vertical angles are congruent. Okay, is it inductive or deductive? Number 3, we have, by using the definitions of opposite rays and linear pair, Howard concluded that opposite rays form a linear pair. Inductive or deductive? Next, using a protractor, Chloe measured each angle of a scalene triangle, a right triangle, an isosceles triangle, and an equilateral triangle. She then concluded that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Is it inductive or deductive? Next, last one, we have, today is February 9. Tomorrow will be February 10, okay, or 2020. So what is it? Is it inductive or deductive? Okay, so let us check your work. So number 1 again, the product of two odd numbers is an odd number. The numbers 7 and 11 are odd. Therefore, the product is odd. So it should be correct. So we have deductive. So the property first was given before the examples. So that's why deductive. Next, after measuring 10 pairs of vertical angles, Paul concluded that all vertical angles are congruent. So what should it be? Correct. That is inductive because you have measured first, okay, the vertical angles before you proceed with the conclusion that all vertical angles are congruent. Okay, before you have proceed with your properties. Okay. Next, number 3, by using the definitions of opposite rays and linear pair, Howard concluded that opposite rays form a linear pair. So is it inductive or deductive? Your answer should be, okay, deductive. Correct. Because, okay, so you use the definition first. Okay. Next, number 4. Using a protractor, Chloe measured each angle of a scalene, right triangle, an isosceles triangle, and an equilateral triangle. She then concluded that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So is it inductive or deductive? Okay, correct. That is inductive. Okay, so you measured first, or she measured first, the angles of the triangle. Okay, before he concluded the property of the measure of the angles of triangle. Next, number 5. Today is February 9, 2020. Tomorrow will be February 10, 2020. So what should it be? It is inductive or deductive? That's correct. Inductive. Because you have given the, okay, actual date today or example of the date today. So, and then your conclusion for tomorrow is Feb 10, okay, 2020. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so that's all for this day. Thank you and God bless.